Okay, so I'm wiring up a G&L ASAT HH RMC, putting in a couple DiMarzio pickups for the customer. I've already started. I tried to shoot a video and picked up my phone and messed everything up, of course, right? Lots of good info you missed, but I'll just kind of go over everything again. Basically, I've already run the neck pickup in here. He's got a push-pull pot in the tone position. The black and white wire and the DiMarzio are gonna go to that, so he can split that pickup, and I'll do the same with the bridge. Green and bare is ground going to the back of the volume pot, and the red is the hot going to the switch. Okay, so like I said, I was saying earlier before I lost everything to my foolish need to pick up the camera, the G&L stuff is awesome, like as far as stock. I don't think in a lot of cases you want to mess with it, because it's just fine. And fine is like, I mean, it's a cheesy way to say it, but I think this stuff is great. They're USA made pickups. They make them themselves. They voice them themselves. I've heard some incredible pickups come out of that factory, and they're hard to beat. So I guess my thing is, in this case, he was looking for a little clarity, and especially in the neck, because he loves the neck position, playing clean. So I'm just trying to help him get that with his guitar. So I need a little solder, right? I'm just going to solder the ground in now. I've got the other components locked in. I've got the solder joint for the switch and the push-pull pot done. The ground wants to be tricky because I didn't quite give myself enough wire to hold that in there. There we go. So let that heat, touch it here, see if it melts. There we go. Little flow. Yeah, you want to make sure your solder, you heat the work, not the solder, when I first started doing this, I made mistakes, That's part of learning. Like I'd wire things up and I'd just like melt the solder onto the wires, and then I learned through experience that that's not the way to do it. You want a nice shiny solder joint. If it looks dull, redo it, because it's not going to work very well. Like that's a cold solder joint and it's going to suck, and things won't sound right, or you'll get loss of signal, cut out, whatever, and that's not cool. So next I'm going to do the bridge pickup. This goes pretty quick once you have the strings off and everything. I think pickup swaps a lot of times go by much faster as far as like a simple like this one, or regular just standard humbucker wiring, when you're just basically putting the pickups in and going. They're not that bad once you've done a number of them. There's other things you can do that get harder. Like I'm working on a guitar for another gentleman right now that is I'm putting in a Graphtec Ghost wraparound bridge and the Acoustimax preamp. So that there's more wires. I mean, a lot of the stuff in those systems is you plug and play kind of thing. Everything's clips. It's all very small, which is a pain in the butt. But everything goes in quick, but you end up with like 8 wires or something like that. You still have to solder, your output jack and everything. But that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I did take a lot of time on that guitar already, basically drilling holes to run all the extra wire from the bridge and everything. I didn't want it to show. I thought that would look kind of not cool. So I went ahead and ran extra, wire and everything, and or drilled extra holes to run the wires, and did that and fished them through those holes, etc. And that really ended up looking pretty cool once I got it done. And I had to drill for the front of the guitar for a push-pull pot for that, and a mini switch. A 3-way mini switch for the different electronics options in that particular guitar. I'm just cutting off the excess heat shrink here, because it's going to fight me going through that hole. I can already tell. There we go. That's sticky. It must be tape. That's electrical tape. I don't like that. Yeah, I use heat shrink instead of electrical tape if I can. Heat shrink is much, it's nicer. It's not gunky. It doesn't, you know, it looks better, you know, works better. There. I'm just going to screw this down, find my screws. One thing I learned over time is if you're doing a pickup install or something, a pickup swap, find a place to put your screws that you can get back to them quickly. Laying them on your bench is just going to cause you heartache. Believe me, I don't know how many times I've set things down and lost track of them, especially on my bench. I don't want to show you my bench. It's embarrassing. It's a mess. There we go. I tend to get going on something and I'll just like throw things, you know, drop them down and move, you know, go, 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 go. Which is, you know, I mean, it's good to be quick, but it's bad to be disorganized. I'm kind of learning a little too late in life, you know. Let's see. Okay, so the bridge pickup's in now. I'm gonna have to strip this back a bit and get myself some, you know, extra length on that wire, because that's not gonna work. It's just not gonna give me enough distance here, because I need that to go. Double check my solder joint on that guy. Yeah, okay. So, a good pair of wire strippers is handy. I got these at Radio Shack, the now defunct Radio Shack, one of the greatest stores ever go out of business, in my opinion. You know, being able to run down the street and get stuff for electronics projects was great, but now they're gone, and I have to order stuff online and wait, which is, you know, not cool. I'm not happy about that, but what do? You know, obviously, the internet and everything, shopping online is kind of, it's changed the landscape, really, you know. So you just have to adjust. So my lead times on certain things have gone kind of out. I try to keep stock of all the components that I run into, you know, needing on a regular basis, you know, so I don't get into a pinch. So I had to cut that bit to there we go. I had to cut that to get some of that gunk out of there, so you get that stripped. Now, the black and white on this, like I said earlier, that's the 2 coils, and I'm going to pre-tin those with some solder. Just touch, get a little solder to flow on them, and I'm going to, you know, solder them together before I, you know, connect them, because if they're not connected together, I mean, they can touch, that's fine, but I want that connection to be solid. So I've got the solder on them, I twist them together, and then I melt that solder, so they're basically one wire, you know, and that ensures my connection is solid, you know. Gotta strip my hot too, because I also cut that. There we go. Moving right along. You know, some of this stuff builds up on me repair-wise, but I love doing it. You know, it's a lot of fun. Guitars are cool, and one of the best things about what I do for a living is that I get to touch all kinds of different guitars. You know, it's really, really very interesting to do, because I am such a fan of the instrument, you know, and playing them, and you know, it's been a fascination of mine for a long time. It's just how I was, how I am, you know. It's something I thought was cool and still do, you know, which is the awesome part about doing this, is I get to mess with all this stuff. So hopefully when we get this all wired up, it'll just play right, you know. A lot of times when you wire a pickup swap or whatever, you make sure you, when you're testing it, you just leave everything, like the cavity covers and stuff. I don't like to seal them up before it's time, because, you know, you get everything together and then you got to take it apart again just to, like, to retouch a wire or something stupid, you know. It doesn't commonly happen, but it can, and it's just an extra step to just save yourself the heartache of taking the guitar apart yet again. You know, it's already apart, just leave it, do your amp test and move on, you know. So last things here is going to be this ground wire. As soon as I get that guy to lay the way I want him, I can put some heat on him. It's kind of tricky angles. A lot of times it's easier, especially on new stuff, to just start from scratch, you know, as far as your pots and stuff. Just take it all apart and just redo it. And that's the way I know a lot of guys do things, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But if you're trying to save the customer a little bit extra cash, why charge them for pots and everything, especially when the pots that are in there are just awesome, you know. And it just saves me from taking everything out, and there's room in there, you know, to do all this stuff. All right, got some heat going on the ground. Use my handy dandy angled needle nose mini pliers here to just kind of hold that in place while it heats. Some good old solder smoke flowing, and I think we're good. Yeah, all right, so that's that. Hopefully everything works for us when we play it through the amp here in a minute. And we've got a solid performing G&L guitar with DiMarzio pickups in it that the customer can enjoy for a number of years. And you know, another job in the you know, done, a pickup swap. So I'm gonna do some more videos like this. Keep watching, you know, subscribe. I'll show you some other interesting tricks and things I've learned over time, and tips, and talk about things that I've seen in different guitars and stuff, you know. I'm not the expert, but I have some experience. You know, there's things I see that make sense and things I see that don't make sense, and hopefully I can kind of share something, you know, share something to help you out. But yeah, like and subscribe to like the video. Subscribe if you like. Hit the bell for notifications. I'll do videos kind of intermittently here. And if you want to know about our shop, go to www.brgmusic.com, and you can see what we have available for sale, see what our services are, and kind of get an idea. We're just a small town store, just kind of plugging away in the age of the internet, helping guys and girls play their instruments, you know, with electronic swap. So I'm going to string this guy up, test her out, and move on. Thanks for watching.